Hello and welcome back to Those Who Cope. Today I'm joined here by Funky, and we have an actual coping related topic to talk about today. Today we are going to be going over our up and coming MMOs and expectations surrounding those MMOs. A brief overview of basically the games that we're currently recruiting for as a guild, as well as just looking forward to in general in terms of the ones that have limited information on them. For example, the Riot MMO or Soulframe, for example. Um, there are also some questionable MMOs and generally shady Kickstarter programs that's were initiated 10 years ago, I believe, for some of them, and have not provided a substantial amount of content nor lived up to the expectations which they constructed for themselves. So a few of those would also be referenced. Of course, to kickstart us off, I want to begin with our primary in terms of really looking forward to it. Ashes of Creation. um to give a brief overview of Ashes of Creation, it was developed 7 years ago. The development began 7 years ago by a man called Stephen Sharif, who is a very renowned member of the Arcade community. He has been gaming for over 25 years, and I believe he led a guild and completely whaled himself through Arcade. So he is definitely a MMO enthusiast, even if he has backtracked on that kind of behavior and does not endorse it for the average player, because it is very unethical, let's say, to have predatory mechanisms that encourage people to dive into their wallet. Especially in the efforts to succeed. But of course, he has taken that on board, and in general, he has created a blueprint that we're very interested in, both me and Funky and our membership in general. A few key systems of this MMO that I'd like to bring up are the node system, in which there are several types of nodes that all develop in a different way to one another and provide different bonuses or perhaps even debuffs, dependent on what type of node there are. I believe there are 4 types of nodes. We're not going to completely cover pros and cons and the ins and outs of the node system today, but it's definitely a system to keep in mind when talking about Ashes. Supposedly, you will be able to quote unquote run these nodes as a guild, as I understand. Funky, is that correct? Right. Right. So the mayor, what powers would you say the mayor holds? Do you know? Oh, that's quite interesting. Mm, okay. Right, of course, because you have how big was the map? I don't know if you have those numbers with you at the moment. Very big map, right? Very big map. We'll just call it. It's a very big map, so 5 months would be very key. Okay, so yeah, quite big. Right, yeah. So definitely in terms of transport, that would definitely be very coveted. Um, so yeah, the node system in general does seem to have a big impact on the gameplay in general, and I believe that it is supposed to be customized based on the race that provides the most resources to that node, and then it becomes their kind of architecture, I believe. loads of different little things that really make the node system seem like a quite an interesting concept. I believe you'll be able to siege them to bring them down a level and get everything like in the houses drops, I believe, or something along those lines. Very right, right. I see. Okay, but yeah, the fact that there's that PvP involved in the node system, I think that is also a very interesting concept, and I'm looking forward to see how they deliver in that aspect. Of course, the economy is completely player driven. You know, in the sense of you have to get people to get the resources in order to be able to create whatever you want, and I believe that it's not going to be a centralized auction house or trading post in that sense. Everything's going to be unique to each city or node or village or whatever. Kind of similar in how Albion has that. So yeah, was it a trading post as well? Yeah, right. Everything was localized. Yeah. Mm, it was yeah. Okay. Well, that kind of concept in general, I kind of like. I did enjoy doing the trips in Albion, and feeling at risk, especially when you're trying to get into cities where something is like extortionate prices. But you go through a sewer tunnel and you get in there and you don't get ganked and you've just made so much gold, you know, or so much silver. Sorry. I feel like that kind of being reflected in Ashes as well would be very interesting to see, um, especially in how that would affect just the economy in general and player-to-player relationships. Um, a lot of different things can happen with that. That can itself be a topic. Right. So resources were yeah you have to stockpile the resources that are in that season so that you can use it in the next season when they're not available, and they or keep them so they go up in price because they're no longer able to be obtained for the next month. I think that's a quite a nice thing to have. Actually, I think that's a way of ensuring that everything stays relevant, while also increasing the rarity and valuableness um, of that item. Because in games and MMOs in general, you do see a devaluation of items, and it's just a shame to see that the effort put into making those items go to waste. So yeah, very good economy idea. Right. Yeah, yeah, it kind of is inevitable, but to be able to limit it, I think that's a good thing to have a little balance in that aspect. Another thing that they are banking on is dynamic events, which are basically world events that spawn spontaneously. I believe we had a recent show of that, whereby Black Fog is supposedly changing the environment and everything surrounding that. And apparently through the commissions board, if I'm correct, you should be able to spawn in events and whatnot based on the quest lines that you have been like that the player base has been doing. Um, and it's going to be different for each server based on how players interact with that. I think that's well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say this for pretty much everything I mentioned in here, but I think it's a great idea. Uh, it keeps the gameplay loop fresh. It keeps it more um it keeps the community engaged because you're not doing the same shit over and over and over again. Um, and if it's per server as well, it's hard to have that knowledge and know what to do in every single last circumstance, because not everyone's gonna have the same event occur. Um, but yeah, in general, dynamic events do seem to be a core component of Ashes, and I do hope to see that be um, done correctly as well. There are quite it can become like a new world quest board, town board situation. So that's the that yeah. I mean, the polarity in the community when it comes to the directions in which they want to go and the feedback they're currently receiving, and the voices that are being put on to portray that as well. It does seem to be quite concerning and moving away from the original idea of the game. But I can understand why you'd want to appeal to as many people as you can, because that is how your game survives, right? That's how your game how you profit off a game. So I'm willing to I'm willing to compromise on certain aspects in order for everyone to be happy, you know. Um, and even if they even if they give us a fraction of what they have said, it would still be a lot better than what we have seen before. So absolutely, absolutely. Mm. Yeah, of course. And I think that is a problem of a lack of manpower, because I know that they were very small and with big aspirations and big ambitions, right? But they've recently upped their numbers. There are now at 200 members, which is quite impressive. And I think that with that kind of manpower, as long as they're very well organized internally and they know exactly what they want to do and that they thought about it correctly, then we should be okay. But of course, that is hella cope. That's why we're here. Uh, oh no, Funky can't be heard on stream. Oh no.
Well, that's quite fine, I guess.
Right.
I hope it's fixed now.
Can we hear them?
Oh yeah.
Right, he's fixed. He's back. Right. Fucking hell. Um. Damn. Okay.
Record Lamsey.
Nah. To be honest, I have just been yapping, so it hasn't been that bad. Funky did give us some insight into different well, explanations in terms of the node system and the player driven economy and some stuff about dynamic events. What I do want people to hear, Funky, is your analysis when it comes to how Ashes is far away from being completed and your thoughts behind that.
Well,
If it
it's
could
not
be
really an
related.
analysis. It's just from the 15 or so key systems that they said that they're going to implement. So from 64 classes all the way to dynamic events, nodes progressing in real time, um, and then that chaining of nodes, right, where you have a tier 5 node, and after it's are two tier 4 nodes, then after two tier 4 are another two, well, four, I guess, tier 3 nodes, and so on and so forth. Nothing is implemented. Also, the naval system that they were talking about so much, again, one of the things that is not implemented again. Um, so from that perspective, I don't think that the game is that far along when it comes to development, and I think it will take a few more years at least to get the game into the playable state where systems are actually working and good to go basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it is just like you said earlier, which no one heard. Um, Fungi was saying that it is just a waiting game. Um, and what we can do is keep an eye on it and just hope for the best and cope as much as possible. I want to move on from Ashes. Unfortunately, we didn't really. Well, the audience wasn't able to hear Funky's retorts to what I've been saying and whatnot. But it's okay because we do plan to do a lot of Ashes conversations. So if we've missed anything over this brief overview today, it will definitely be talked about in the future. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
move
definitely.
on. Oh yeah, 100%. I want to move on to our next up and coming MMO and expectations surrounding that. Throne and Liberty. We have been looking at this for the past year and a bit,
Yep.
before any alpha or beta was even known about. When it was project whatever, under NCSoft's development schedule, and it has been surprisingly good in the
It has
sense
been a
of,
roller coaster of emotions, man. You
well,
can't say that it has been
no,
good.
no, 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 no. It's been surprisingly good in terms of its outcome. Right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
the outcome is the best I could ever have asked for in terms of it looks like a game I can play for 3 months non-stop, be good, get a dopamine rush, whatever. Um, but I do understand what you're saying with the roller coaster of emotions because during development they did have some very big red flags. I think I mentioned this briefly in episode 0 where they changed the combat to be
Yeah.
less static, so you actually move around. They completely removed the mobile development phase as well. They just got rid of that. There will be no
Also, auto hunting, astral hunting, auto
yes,
pathing,
yeah,
all of those systems removed within 3 months, I think.
yeah,
It was or something along those lines.
which is great
Um,
because they took feedback and actually acted on it, right? And it made the game more viable for the Western audience. Of course, at the moment in South Korea, it's not performing very well, mainly because of the
yeah,
culture surrounding
yeah,
gaming in Korea. They love to dive into their wallets, right? And they expect gamers who are hardcore to dive into their wallets. And that's just how it is within their culture. Which so can't really say I agree with that kind of conduct, but the fact that they're appealing towards a global audience because they know like if they can get America and Europe as a audience, they will earn a lot of money because it is a larger populace, and you'd
yeah,
eventually earn more
definitely.
money from it. So it is smart to listen to what the West are saying so that they can deliver a game that will be enjoyed by them.
Yeah.
Let's go over briefly the core components of Throne and Liberty and exactly what we're looking forward to within them. The main thing that really makes me feel excited to play Throne and Liberty is the guild system. The way that your progression itself is dictated by your guild performance. So you have guild milestones that need to be achieved in order to unlock raids at higher level, right? And if you do not have those guild milestones completed within your guild, then you are locked out from said content. That locks you out from gear sets. So the fact that they've made it mandatory for you to engage with a community, engage with players, which is the essential core aspect of a MMO, right? They're
Yeah.
kind of forcing it, and I fucking love that. It's kind of like how Albion kind of forces it in the sense of you won't really get anywhere unless you have guidance, but that's kind of like not
Well,
fun. It's not fun, right? And it's not
I think
easy to do.
it's different in Albion because you do have the solo island where you can grind gold and stuff like that, right? So you can make it quite far in Albion. Sure, you won't participate in any GVGs or something like that, but you can still participate in faction wars and stuff like that. So also, let's not forget solo Hellgates,
True.
Mists, and Albion has quite a lot of solo content. But on the other hand, Throne of Liberty doesn't have anything unless you're willing to solo grind dungeons or now these weekly quests and well,
Yeah.
dailies as well. Apart from that, there's nothing really for you in Throne of Liberty if you're looking to for a solo experience, right?
Right.
The story is nothing special. It's a Korean MMO. Oh, there's a big bad guy, and that's the depth
And
of the
yeah,
story. That's where it ends.
exactly. Fair enough. Fair enough. To be honest, I didn't really take into consideration that Albion had a lot of content. When I think of Albion, I only think of GVGs, so that's just me being
Yeah.
a bit narrow-minded. Um, but yeah, you're absolutely correct in terms of there's not really much of a single player experience within Throne and Liberty, which is unfortunate, but it's a massively multiplayer online role playing game. So,
No, I like it. I
you
like
know,
that they took that direction, right?
yeah,
That they're solely focused on guilds and what a certain guild will do, and especially alliances as well, right? Because again, you cannot achieve anything with well, you can't achieve everything with only your guild. At a certain point, you will need to alliance up, especially if you want to win those big castle sieges and well, server versus server content as well,
right.
because they started slowly adding it. So yeah,
Yeah, the cross server stuff, like the patch notes that we actually went over today, um,
yeah.
they do look like they're putting in a lot of great features such as cross
It
server, and it will help
it
keep the game
seems
alive.
like they're taking things from Arts of Creation book, aka a lot of those server cross server things. Like Arts was thinking about adding cross server arenas for the to determine who's the best. What was it? Arena group, right? In each tier, so in 3v3, 5v5, so on and so forth, right? It seems like Throne Liberty is taking a lot of those points from Ashes of Creation and just adding it, but at a much quicker rate because, again, Ashes is still in development, only Alpha 2 in a couple of months,
Mm.
and Throne Liberty is right now out in the Korea with very, very fast development time and very fast updates, right?
Yeah,
We're seeing big, massive gameplay updates every 2 months. Well, every 2 weeks,
yeah. There will at
more
least
or
be a
less.
quality of life update in it, like little
Yeah.
things, bug fixes, whatever the fuck it is, and the game performs well, right? Like you have people
Oh yeah.
playing on 600 ping. Now, while it's a bit janky, right? Generally speaking, when I'm watching their streams, it's pretty nice, pretty smooth, more often than not. Until you get into like I don't know, big area where there's like a good 500 people or whatever. Then obviously you're gonna struggle a little bit if you're playing on fucking VPN. But
Yeah, definitely.
it's still performing well, which and constant updates that don't break the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not you don't. I don't need to mention what that reference is.
No, no, don't.
This is the
We bashed it
forbidden
enough.
game. With the forbidden game, we will not mention it. Um, cool. Yeah, the castle sieges and those kind of large scale PvP battles. Boonstone occupation as well is a
Yep.
um
That was recently also changed, and I'm really excited for the change because it's no longer well, it is a GVG event, but it's no longer a alliance. It's no longer a Zerg event. Let's put it that way. Because before it was, oh yeah, whoever has more numbers will more or less win the Boonstone and win the buffs that the Boonstone gives. Mind you, some of them are pretty huge, like 50 resistance and 50 attack damage. That is very, very big. And now it's guild versus guild type of event, right? Where you're relying on your own guild and on your own teammates.
Right. Is it similar to Forbidden Game? Is it similar to New World in the sense of you have to declare, or something along those lines when you initiate the Boonstone War? Let's say.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I do know that you can pick a boonstone to which you will declare, and I think that the team, well, the guild with more leaderboard points gets more percentage
Ah,
chance to
right.
be the one, right? It's very similar, but again, I'm not sure if the system will be kept in place or not.
Yeah, they're probably well. What it seems like to me is that they're trying different things and seeing what sticks, right? Which is
Yeah,
kind of the only thing you
definitely.
can do when you have a new game and you have a new, well, I wouldn't say it's a new system. It's like capture the flag or domination or Rafi Bassin or whatever. It's
Yeah.
very simple concept, but it does need to be tuned based on the surrounding mechanics of combat and whatnot to see what fits, and also the guild and alliance mechanics and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
at least they're working on it. That's the main thing. Another thing about Throne of Liberty that I really like is the fact that the way that they've done healing. Um, it's kind
Oh,
of,
really?
yes, it's kind of a love
Okay.
it or hate it kind of thing, right? But I feel like they have taken a new direction in terms of removing the need for a person who just keeps everyone alive, right? But instead you have to rely more on the general IQ of the group to not stand in the fire, as opposed to it solely depending on if you have a really good healer. I've talked to a lot of people who understand that a good healer can make or break a group in all kinds of MMO related endeavors, right? You could have like the shittiest group but have a fucking amazing healer and you're good, right? It's like
Yeah.
you can clutch it, right? And removing that as an element to the game and having it based on the general output of the group itself and having that minimalized essentially, I find that very interesting because it means that instead of thinking about my mana regen ticks and mainly regen with I don't know, heal over times and keeping up heal related abilities on people, it's instead focused on CC and AoE. Like that's become a part of the rotation when it comes to healing in Throne of Liberty. And also it's like, well, if you're going to use a wand, you're going to take the skills, right? Because
Yeah, you
there's
should.
there's there's only two of them. There's only two. I think they added a third one in this new patch, but
Yeah.
yeah, as we know at the moment, there is only a limited amount of healing spells, so you might as well just take them if you're going to roll one anyway, because they increase your survivability and you can use it on other people, so it increases your group survivability as well. I don't know about the DPS output because I know that the dungeons themselves have enrage mechanics. So at the
Yeah, they do.
if you don't kill them within a certain amount of time, they enrage and you just die. So you can't exactly just roll with 5 ones, right? Yeah, otherwise you won't have the DPS output. I believe that's how they balance that in that case.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not 100% sure
Yeah,
on that one.
we have
But it's
yet to actually
interesting
hop on it.
to see that you like the healing. Well,
I
at
do.
least the aspects of it,
It makes
because I was thinking that you'll be a bit enraged.
nah,
Coming to
I'm not.
Throne Liberty, considering that it has only, as you said, a few healing skills, and majority of other ones are either CC or some kind of escape or some kind of overtime damage, especially for wand and staff.
Yeah.
Um, Well,
Um.
that's good to hear because it is something different.
Exactly.
It is very close to, well, again, kind of closer to Albion, right? Because you had a lot of get the fuck away from me skills when you were a healer,
Yeah.
and again, well, healing skills, but only a few. It wasn't
It
an
is
unlimited
limited.
amount
Yeah.
like in WoW.
Yeah. and having a limited amount of healing potential, it make you think more about different aspects of your gameplay, so like positioning and all that kind of shit. So I feel like overall having less makes you think more, right? That's why
Could be.
I enjoy it. Um, and the fact that it's something just different, like it's a different flavor of gameplay. It's akin kind of to New World in the sense of limited abilities. You have to think a bit differently. Um, but of course, it doesn't have much in correlation to that. But Forbidden Game, I have to say it.
Yeah.
What other things would you say are worth mentioning about Frozen Liberty?
Ooh, you got me on the spot now. Um, hmm. What did we mention?
We mentioned the guild system and mechanics. We mentioned the large scale PvP system. We've mentioned the castle sieges briefly as well.
Right, right.
Discussed
Okay,
skills and weapons.
this will be a controversial one, but pay to win.
Oh, okay. We'll cover this
Let's
very
let's
very briefly. Okay.
yeah, let's go forward with it. Long story short, there's quite a divide in the community saying that well the game is pay to win, and there's another part of the community that is like well kind of, but not really. This is one of the reasons why the game isn't doing well in Korea. It's not pay to win enough, meaning that you can swipe your card as much as you want, but you will not ever get. Well, you will get the best gear, but that doesn't mean that you will get the best DPS. That doesn't mean that you will get the best survivability and things along those lines. TL is heavily oriented on the abilities and on the mastery level of your weapon, which are very hard to grind.
Yeah.
People that have been playing it on our server know that well, majority of people in Korea that play the game right now have not yet reached mastery level 10, and the game has been out for 4 months. Meaning that it's kind of grind heavy in that department where you're limited by how much you can spend, right? Because you can have again the best gear, but if you do not have the skills, your skills upgraded. If you do not have that master level, it means nothing.
Mhm.
Your DPS output, your survivability simply won't be big enough.
Enough. Yeah. Like I know that one of our members was telling me this a couple of days ago, or perhaps this morning. I don't fucking know. But yeah, he was saying that the if you have +9 blue armor, you will definitely out DPS a +6 epic armor. You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
differences in gear are pretty minimal, and you actually want to prioritize just a higher skill
Mm-hmm.
more often than not until you reach a certain level on the other one. We're not too sure of the logistics or exactly how you would determine this. We haven't crunched the numbers or anything like that. Um, but I do think that in general, in terms of pay to win for a Korean game, can
Not
kind of
better
accept.
all.
I can accept
Yeah.
this. Like, absolutely. Game's free to play. There's no box price. I can just fucking load it up, make a character, play it. You know. So
Yeah.
if I play it for a month and I'm enjoying the game and I want to chuck them 15 quid for I don't know a
A
trait,
battle pass or a
a,
girls pass or
a
whatever the fuck.
yeah, or even just a fucking trait that I've seen that I really need or whatever, and I play the game for 2 months and I've got my gear and whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll chuck in 15 quid. Maybe I'll whale it just a little bit. But as long as it don't change anything in that regard, or perhaps even Amazon will uh what's the word lessen
Negate.
negate
Yeah.
yeah
Listen.
lessen or negate the pay to win elements even further. So we have no idea.
I
That's
don't. I don't
hoping, but
think
yeah,
they will though, just because of what Stuff was saying all this time. They're always preaching about how the game in the Korea and game in the West will be the same game, right?
oh okay.
Therefore, I don't think that they will change much. Sure, maybe some things, maybe they will bring some updates that are currently live on Korean servers, but again, even that, it's a bit questionable. I guess we'll have to wait to see.
I see, yeah, absolutely. It's one of the games that overall we're really excited for. Got a good set of heads around us as well. Um, Ready to actually play that and sweat that out and just have a great time on that. Um, Okay, so moving on to the next MMO. It's kind of a meme. I'm not gonna lie to you. Thought I th- thought I'd mention this because it is something that I see a lot of guilds recruiting for. I kind of view it as a joke. Like I'm gonna give a little bit of background on the development and where this MMO has come from. Uh, the MMO I'm referencing is called Terraceland. Funky has played this. He played in the beta, so he has some insight
Yeah,
into
I
the
have.
game as well. We also
I
have
have.
another
I have.
person who played the beta, and his heart was absolutely broken. Well, I wouldn't say broken. I'll say he expected it, but he still was fucking fuming. Um, so
He
to
was zooted as well while playing it. So that makes it much worse.
yeah, exactly. It's the only way you could get through it. But yeah, Taros Land, to give a little bit of background, was supposed to be the a WoW kind of re-release with a different arc in China. But due to comments made by Blizzard staff or something along those lines, I can't remember the ins and outs of it. China basically banned Blizzard from producing or selling games or whatever, just operating within China. And so that kind of project that they had with Tencent, they lost all the rights to it. And because they, essentially had to stop development, and they've already been spending years on the development, they just changed it into something else. Hence why they made it into Terraceland, quote unquote. And if you see the um, NPCs and characters that you'll be dealing with, you can see obviously you have Arthas, and then you have Sylvanas, and then you have Jaina, and then you have Thrall. But they're not named that. They're just the same kind of model and the same kind of person. It's like a copy of WoW. It's very, very funny to see. Quitfall. We'll get onto that very soon, Arif. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I thought I'd mention this game. It has its general PvE, PvP elements. I've seen the PvP. It it just looks like a mobile game. I think it's supposed to be a cross server for mobile to PC. So it just looks like a
Yeah.
mobile game. There's not much to actually really talk about in terms of the PvP. You just click a few buttons, and one button takes damage, the other button makes your health bar go up. So
I think it's 5 skills. It was, if I remember
5,
correctly.
I see.
Yeah. To be
Um,
honest, I didn't have a bad time on it. It's just that there was nothing to do, really, right?
I mean, you are having fun collecting all those feathers or whatever the fuck they were.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I was jumping around the cities collecting some sort of feathers,
Yeah.
and again falling from the map because that's usually what I do.
To be full, to be fair, um, I do see the game as quite nice if you're playing it casually. It's like easy on the eyes. You can play it on your mobile, so you could just play it when you're going to, like, I don't know, bored at work on lunch or something. It's something that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can spend 1 or 2 minutes, well, hours on and be okay. In terms of actually making it your main game, and you should try to be competitive in it and be hardcore. I don't think you're going to get much out of
no,
it, to be fair. Um,
yeah, true.
Especially with the pay to win things. I've seen many different articles covering saying no pay to win, no pay to win, but then I go on the our member's stream and I'm seeing like, okay, so you could buy this pack which allows you to buy this, and then you have all your armor, and it's like, oh, okay, so is it pay to win?
Yeah, Tencent didn't think that was pay to win, and still doesn't.
Oh, right, okay.
But
So semantics then. I see.
yeah, more or less, yeah.
Well, that's a damn shame. But anyway, seems like something that you could just play very casually and have fun with it. So, to all those guilds that are recruiting, and having a great time and really excited for it, I hope it goes well, and I hope that they live up to your expectations as well. Cool. So, I think to move on to our next MMO, Funky, do you want? I don't know which one you want to start with.
I'd like to start with Chrono Odyssey, not gonna lie.
Right. Okay. Let's
With
go.
the recent things that I have been happening within the community, it seems like something could be brewing up, right?
Ooh, give us the teaser.
Uh, Long story short, well, name Tron Odyssey, developer NPixel. The game is being developed in Unreal 5. So far, the model of payment that they're using is unknown, but considering that it's NPixel, it will most likely be free to play. Um, Combat similar, very similar to New World, even though on the recent trailers and things that they have shown, it looks way better. So action combat with 6 classes. Each class will be able to have 2 weapon types, right?
Okay.
There will be both PvP and PvE. They have not shown any type of PvP so far, but when it comes to PvE, they have your typical dungeons, raids, open world raids, and something along those lines.
Yeah.
Uh, Platforms are PC, PS4, and Xbox so far. Hopefully, we won't see the game on mobile because
That would
that would
ruin it.
kill it for me
Yeah.
at least a bit, right?
Yeah, ruin it.
Um, there's a huge time travel mechanic that is within the game that will allow you to explore the game even further and get some collectibles. Even will be used in some boss mechanics and maybe even PvP. And but again, this is just a bit of speculation.
Mm. It's
AK thing to takeaways. There's a time travel mechanic that you can well start with a click of a button.
which I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's my small brain, right? Like my P brain is probably interfering with the ability to understand the time travel mechanic within like PvP. But the only kind of time related mechanics that I've seen is more of a like rewind. So,
Yes.
for example, like time warp. No, not time warp. I think it's called rewind in WoW. The mages have it. Arcane mages. And they're able to use that ability, and then after a certain amount of time, they revert to the same status that they were in terms of health and mana. Um, once the timer runs out, once they re-click the button, right? It's a way of like exposing yourself to danger while being able to revert back to 100 HP once they've used everything on you, kind of to force
Right.
CDs out, whatever. And
I
that's the only thing that I've seen like time related that can
I
be
have a
functional.
feeling the time travel can work very well in MMOs. Let's say, for example, there's a castle siege or something along the lines in the Rapt broken down castle, right? And if you use it in a specific way on a specific point, it could maybe rebuild a certain pulley system or ladders or something that makes you so you're able to get high ground or get into that said castle in another way, right? Or a hidden sewage system or something along the lines, right? There's a lot of ways to play with it. It
Okay.
just kind of depends how they do it, right?
Yeah, I see. You are thinking in terms of environmental implementations, whereas I'm
Yes.
thinking in more a player versus player direct combat situation. Maybe
I
that's
don't
where
think
I'm
there will be a
misunderstanding.
lot of use cases in
Yeah.
player versus player. It's
Okay.
very hard to balance it and very hard for both players to see the impact, right?
Yeah. I think that you're kind of onto something in terms of using time travel to repair something that was working before but isn't now. So you kind of like just revert it back to when it was fixed. Um,
Yeah.
that is an interesting concept. And if it's the main kind of difference that this MMO will have, it's interesting to really see where they're gonna go with it because like what just happened now, I struggled to think of ways in which it could be implemented like just standard, like just in any kind of way, which is why I resorted to an ability that I know of. But yeah, having it though done environmentally could be a thing, but it's kind of like, is that very special? Because Throne and Liberty have the same thing, but they have it in more depth. Not in terms of time travel in particular, but in terms of when it's raining, something's different. When it's sunny, something's different. When it's day, something's different. When it's night, something's different. So they have the environmental changes as well, but it seems more in depth, and it just seems like it's a one-trick pony when it comes to the time travel
Well,
in Chrono Odyssey.
I'm not.
If it
I'm
makes
not
sense.
saying that it's special, right? First of all, you haven't seen a lot from the game. You have a full gameplay of Throne of Liberty on YouTube right now, as soon as you Google it, right? So meaning that they're probably keeping their cards close to themselves, close to their chest. We'll just see when the game comes out or when the beta happens, right?
Okay.
But I do think that it could be a very interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
Um,
It definitely has potential. It's just where the developers are really going with it.
yeah. Also, this is one of the games where I'm quite interested in the story, the bosses, the types of bosses, the animations, and all of those sorts of things that they're showing on Twitter and on their quote unquote updates look very, very good. It seems to be some kind of a dark fantasy theme that they're covering, and to be honest, I'm deeply in love with their work and what they're doing with the game right now.
Fair, fair. I haven't seen much. Like you said, it's mainly just art and lore. Um,
Yeah.
which is why I'm just like kind of just vaporware at the moment. But again,
Also,
we're coping, right? Hopefully, it actually, you know,
well,
we hear
now
something
that you
about.
say that, there is an interesting part to this whole Chrono Odyssey story.
Mm.
So if you go into their website right now, and you can link it in our chat, um, you will be greeted with a prompt that they're saying that they're redoing the whole website and they're deleting all of the data, meaning that there could be a soon to begin beta test or something along the lines, right? They might be repairing with the news website to, well, for the forum or for the, again, as I said, the beta test, alpha test, or something along those lines, right?
Okay,
It could be happening very soon. Well, again, a bit of copium, but something to look out for definitely, especially if you're interested in this game.
okay, yeah. If they're actually updating the website, yeah, this looks much different actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, this looks so like
Uh,
I don't remember any of this. So they have definitely are doing things with it. That's great to know because
yep.
when I last looked at this properly, I
Like, look at this art.
didn't see
My
anything.
God, it
Yeah, it's
looks so good.
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Um, pretty cool. And I believe they have a YouTube and shit as well. Cool. Yeah, that's good to know. That's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
to know.
Didn't
Absolutely.
upload those for quite a while.
Nice. That's actually raised up the copium levels for me personally. I think that we'll probably hear something soon. I'm gonna become a Chrono main now. So happy day. Um, yeah, that was a good overview of Chrono Odyssey. Really. Just gonna have to wait and see. That website improvement is probably a good sign. So probably see something about that very soon. Um, to give a flip side of what we have just experienced here with learning about Chrono Odyssey and how it's actually looking like there's something gonna come with it. Let's talk about Quinfall. Um,
Oh,
to to anyone who is unfamiliar with Quinfall, I believe that it's been in development for
three?
five. Oh, okay, three.
No, it
Very
hasn't. I
okay.
think it's three.
3 years. Okay, it's been developed by 3 years by I'm gonna butcher the name. It's Valrek Studios. Valrek.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yep. And there's been a lot of controversy surrounding development. Yes, yes, Alif. Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of controversy around it. A lot of people are very aware that the majority of their game has been basically composed of assets that are bought directly from the Unity store and just placed on a fucking um, environment and then left there as it is. Maybe they tune it a little bit so it doesn't look too out of place, but again, you can just find the exact same thing within a package on the Unity store, which is a very concerning thing. The developers have retorted saying that the asset usage is to speed up development, but of course, if you are using these assets in general, you are not developing a core identity of the game. And it's not looking the same in everywhere. So you'll go one area and it'll look different to another, but not in this. It doesn't. It just doesn't match, right? Eventually,
There's no cohesion, right?
yes, there's no cohesion, and I imagine the story wouldn't work either. Because of that.
Bold of you to assume that there is one.
Yeah, that is a very, very good point as well. It looks like their lore is ChatGPT generated, and is it well in general there's a lot of red flags with Quinfall. But I'm gonna do my best to try and portray what they're trying to convey. Right, I will give the I'll shill them just temporarily. So Quinfall is supposed to be an action combat based MMO. I believe, I don't know about the monetization. Can't remember if they intend on having a box price or if it's subscription or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, it's supposed to be an action combat MMO with the the general MMO features, crafting, professions, dungeons, raids, PvP, all that kind of stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Let me just show. Actually, I think I can. Let me get up the video of Quinfall's PvP.
I do not think that you want to do that.
No. I think the best way to show what it's looking like at the moment would be just to show a video of the actual PvP. Just give me one moment. I can't find the video now. Yeah, fuck it.
Good.
Yeah, fuck it. You know, it's probably a good thing.
Is more than enough.
Yeah, true actually. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Should have had that close by.
There are a lot of repeat screenshots with different weather effects.
Yes, it's yeah. They just did it from a different angle, didn't they? And hinted it a little bit different. And also the actual I think it's their first picture that you see when you go on their website. It's the their studio logo on the wall, and it turns out that's from a stock image.
They removed that.
Yeah, they removed it, but the fact that that was there in the first place, quite concerning. In general, everything about them is quite concerning. They have been in their prior companies that they have been associated with. They have also been linked to an RMT site that sold gold on the MMO that they previously developed. As well. So there is
Kira Online or something like that.
I cannot remember the actual name of the MMO. What I remember is feeling shocked that they were partnered with an RMT site for their own MMO. Just general shady stuff to come from Quinfall. We're most likely not going to be endorsing or supporting that game. I'm probably not going to play it with all these things and recent controversies that have come out about Quinfall. But I thought it would just be good to mention it.
Shed some light on the situation, more or less.
I feel like it could be, we could correlate some knowledge and actually go on a deep dive with Quinfall from start to finish.
To be honest, I think that there are a lot of creators who did a very, very good job when it comes to that.
True.
And
there is.
I will be more than happy to link their videos because, like, they went from a deep dive into the person that is developing it itself to the companies, to separate people working at those companies, and so on and so forth, right?
that deep, so, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's an actual 2-hour deep dive into everything, into the assets that they bought, what they're doing with the website, what has been done, so on and so forth, right?
Oh damn, it's already been documented. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Definitely could just share that one then. Cool. Right, that's Quinfall. Recommend avoiding. But yeah, what is the next?
They will have closed beta soon.
No, didn't they already have one in January? End of January, wasn't it?
Should be, but there should be an open beta then quite soon.
Oh, they're doing an open one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're doing an open one. But yeah, do not quote me on that. I have not been following,
Right, yeah,
but I'm pretty
because
sure that there will be an open beta.
okay,
They did have a closed beta interview though.
yeah,
That
surely.
is 30 something minutes long. Again, take with a grain of salt and whatever.
We literally have a Quinful part on our Discord, but we will avoid it. Winter, you're not supposed to snitch. Okay, he's snitching.
We were desperate. There was no good games announced, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We were looking forward to it, and then our hearts were broken, as does
Also, it
happen.
didn't look that bad in the beginning of the development, right?
Yeah,
There were still some shady things, but it was like, oh well, Arts of Creation is shady as well. When you think about it,
you're gonna
that
have
Steven
so
was
many
selling
people fight.
energy juices when he was younger. Well, younger, starting his company, quote unquote.
Hey,
So
I believe in rehabilitative justice. Okay, I'm sure he, you know, got better and does more moral things now. Surely, please. Um, but yeah, we can move on to our next MMO. Funky. I don't know if you want to which one you want to
right.
go over. Yeah.
Let's
Well.
go right. I think there are a lot of Riot copers in the chat right now. Well,
Oh
in
yeah.
general.
Well, there is one that comes to
Um,
mind. Very, very.
there are several that come to mind.
Every fucking league player in our fucking guild, yeah, more or less.
Yeah. Long story short, well, developer Riot Games engine that they're working on currently unknown, probably an in-house engine. Of course, set in the like universe with all of their races, classes, and stuff along those lines, right? One fun fact that I found on their website is that Riot is no longer looking for the developers for their MMO, which could mean a few things. One, that they're far out from showing or any sort of spot testing, beta, alpha testing, right? Those sorts of things. Second, that they have every developer needed for absolutely everything right now. But I think that the first option is, well, kind of better.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. To be honest with you, there isn't too much we can predict when it comes to the Riot MMO because it's like 2030, Lamont, if even that.
True, true.
Well,
We do have some leaks and some general things that will be in the game, so might as well cover those, right?
sure, yeah, go ahead.
So one of them being, according to the list from the previous interview with Greg Street, aka previous, I guess, was he a lead developer or what was he just? I think he overviewed the whole project.
Um, it looks like, yeah,
I
it looks
think he
like
was
he's
overviewing
the
the whole.
yeah, it says former head of creative development, so I
Yeah,
believe that he is the big boy that knows.
exactly. Well, according to him, the game will be free to play with an in-game cosmetic shop, same as League, right? So same model as League of Legends has, same model as Valorant has, and that seems to be working very, very well from them. Previous interview again, we can expect a lot of end-game dungeons, raids, and those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Once
Standard formula.
again, Greg Street blessed us with a leak saying that Riot MMO will have a form of PvP. You can pull that tweet up. I think I sent you.
Oh really?
And
We've
yeah,
got confirmed absolute solid evidence. Insane. Would you look at that?
and now I will kill your dreams with another fact that the same person that leaked all of that and said all of that, aka Greg Street, or left Riot and is no longer working for them, and is pursuing, well, made his own studio and is making his own MMO. We do not know the
What
we do
chat?
not know the reason why that happened, or yeah, how, but oh well, it is
Oh,
what it is.
it
Also,
is what it.
for people that don't know, Greg Street, commonly known as Ghost Crawler for all of our hardcore and, well, WoW audience. This could, well, make or break it for a lot of you, I guess, considering that he worked for 3 years with Riot on their MMO. But yeah,
I see. Well,
that's pretty much everything that we know about it, aka fuck all and a lot of speculations.
yeah. I mean, at least we know that it's it's been talked about and it's been discussed and it's in the cards. You know, that I can accept that. That makes me happy. And I have
Yeah,
faith
yeah.
because you know you have a guy who has been in development for multiple different MMOs, has experience with it and whatnot, understands the flaws and whatnot, and he can kind of give us an idea of where it's at the moment. As you said, he's since left and developing his own MMO, so but we have to look out for that as well. Um, and of course, we have the number one Coper in the chat as well. That's
Of
great.
course we do.
Uh,
As
it's
soon
great.
as we mention Riot, he sniffs our ass and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
goes here.
yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Lovely to have you here, Flack. But yeah, MMO, right? MMO, no fucking clue when it's coming out, what it's gonna surround, what's the main thing that makes the game special, or anything like that. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Um,
Agreed.
cool. We have been yapping for quite a while now. It's gone past an hour. I kind of wanna wrap this up with two last things. We'll go over them really quickly, right? The first thing that
Okay.
I want to talk about briefly is Albion.
Yeah.
There are new servers coming out on April 27th? Question mark.
Let me double check that information for you
Yeah.
really quick.
While Funky checks that, to give a brief overview, we mentioned it a few times in this episode as well.
29th.
29th of April.
Yeah, April
Al
29th. Yeah.
Albion is essentially a very sandbox MMO, like it's the sandbox MMO, in the sense of you do not have linear progression; it's all horizontal, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'd say that.
yeah, and your progression depends on the weapons and armor you're using, and you gather experience called fame to put into those skills, and eventually max it out to have the best output when using said armor. So there's leather, cloth, and plate, right? I believe there might be another one, but I'm too pea-brain to remember.
I
Um,
do not know.
and each of those carry their own skills and abilities as well. So I believe it's you have different types of boots, like I don't know,
Yeah.
Marauder's boots, if I remember correctly, which has it.
Marauder, Stalker, Blade,
Yes,
Plated, so on and so forth, right? Soldier boots, for example.
yeah,
All of them
yeah,
have different abilities, different things that they're good at, bad at, different protections, stats, so on and so forth.
so on and so forth. Yeah,
Again,
very intricate skill system that they have and very grindy. It is very guild orientated as well, in the sense of you can have faction wars based on the city that you sign up with. Um, and there is PvP, full loot PvP, in zones above blue. Can't remember.
no, it's red and black zones are full of PP, right?
Red and black. Okay, so it's
Yeah,
yeah above blue then. So it's like as soon as you hit red and black, it's full loot PvP no matter what, and you kind of are forced to participate within those zones if you
isn't
want
there a
to
yellow zone
progress.
as well that
Yeah,
there is PvP, but it's not full loot, right?
yeah. I can't remember
And blue
the.
zone is not above yellow as much as I know.
No, no,
Blue
no.
zone
It's
is a
not.
safe zone.
No, no.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I am getting my Albion knowledge all over the place. Haven't played it for a year or so, so not surprising. So it is generally the same game, but it's coming out with European servers, so you have better ping when playing now, because before they were hosted in NA.
NA.
Right.
Yeah.
So technically, it was playing on an NA server that entire time. But now they having the original servers come forth, so we are looking forward to playing that. We're not going to be recruiting for it. We believe that we do not have the experience and the resources in order to fully satisfy our itch if we do go hardcore, because we expect a certain standard from our leadership ability and our capability. And if we don't think we can reach that, then there's no point in disappointing the people that had faith in us and put time into us and our community, right? So and on top of that, going against 8k our fucking players and guilds that bought the 200 quid fucking founders
Or
pack
100.
Or 100, yeah,
Yeah.
for the 5-day early access and all that kind of stuff that comes with that.
I mean, you
We
can pull
won't
up
be able
that
to compete.
website as well, right?
I can actually, yeah.
I think it's a very good idea to show the type of thing that they're doing with the new server. I mean, obviously there's a lot of hype around it, surrounding it. Like if I look at the Albion Online server right now, a European one has 150,000 people in it right now.
Wait. What? Did you find a European server for it?
I mean, there's a European section within Albion Online, right?
Oh,
So
okay, yeah.
still, 160,000 people, 150,000 people roughly, with a bunch of guilds recruiting for EU. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of hype involved. There are a lot of hardcore guilds that will be committing to this game, and some of them are already asking, well, for members that have the 200 and $100 bundles, right? They're
Mm.
not recruiting anyone else but those players.
Yeah, of course.
Which makes sense. 5 days head start is huge.
Huge, yeah, it's crazy huge. It's gonna be definitely be a
Yeah,
whale
Albion
fest,
Online was actually always pay to win with their subscriptions as well, right?
and with their silver, you can buy silver straight up.
200%
So
loot bonus. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there's just another level for them, in my opinion.
it is. They've really stepped up in terms of being money hungry whores. I will agree with that. But you know what? You have the audience. The audience is addicted to your product. So like a drug dealer, you're just gonna have them pay more.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, makes sense. Immoral corporate business practice, but understandable nonetheless within a capitalist society. So yeah, we're not going to be hardcore in this, but we are definitely going to play it because we think that in lieu of anything actually being released at the moment that we're looking forward to, for example, Throne of Liberty AOC, we might as well play a bit of this, see if we like it, see if it sticks, see if our members enjoy it as well, and just actually play a game, an MMO with our players as well, like sharing information, doing arenas together, doing running through Black Zone dungeons, anything that we can just do as a team, as a collective, to have fun, right? And maybe even do some ganking and some roaming and shit. But yeah, this is one that we're definitely looking forward to playing. Not as hardcore as we will be with Throne of Liberty and whatnot, but nonetheless, something to mention. The last thing that I wanted to go over before we leave is PAX Day. Now,
Oh god,
like Funky has written quite a bit here when it comes to
there is quite
discussing
a bit
PAX
of
Day.
information about the game.
There is. It's one of those ones that has been around for a while, and the developers are quite open about that. About the development and about how it's going, and we've actually played the alpha as well.
Yeah, we have.
We didn't play the most recent closed beta because I believe that those were specific people that were selected for that who, I don't know, gave a lot of feedback.
Very, very specific people within the community, right?
Yeah, that they can trust to not leak their shit. So makes sense. But to give a general overview of PAX Day, it is a survival-based MMO similar to that to Rust or Ark, in gameplay, kind of. You know, you start off with nothing but your fists, I think it is, and you beat some wood and make an axe, and then
Mad.
oh, you're nasty. Also that. Um, but yeah, beat some wood, get an axe, and cut down some trees, get a pickaxe from some rocks and pebbles, rah, and then you build up and well, the main thing about the game is the building. You're able to get a plot of land that you own and that you can share to your guild, and you kind of just make crafting stations to build your armor, get a furnace to cook some metal, all that kind of stuff, right? But it's supposed to be on an MMO scale, and they were really originally were really honing in on the PvP aspect. I believe they said it was going to be full loot PvP in the same way you get killed on Rust, you get fucked kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and they were kind of bringing up the scale to like 100 players versus 100 players kind of magnitude. I personally, the way that the alpha played out, I understand it's an alpha, but there were quite a few things that were worrying in terms of having those 100 players in that kind of combat system. It could be that the combat system hasn't yet been actually worked on by the developers, so it wasn't exactly being showcased. I can understand that completely. The extent of which it took to, well, the time it took to actually get somewhere with the stuff you were doing, did require you to have a large number of players available in order to do that. So if you didn't have someone cutting wood at all times, you didn't get nowhere. If you didn't have someone mining at all times, you didn't get nowhere. The linen in particular, you had to sit at a spinning wheel. I think I sat there for like 3 hours, just AFK, just spinning fucking linen into the linen things, and that's just into one stage of the thing. I then have to spin that shit into something else. Um,
Yeah, it was great.
it was amazing. It was great AFK content. I felt like I was playing RuneScape. Um, but yeah, it is an alpha, so I can forgive it, and I understand that they're kind of going for something different in an MMO. It's not, well, there's zero. I think in general there's zero like progression per se in terms of levels or skills. It's more um a Rust style of gameplay, which is why I kind of see it as less of an MMO, right? Because it doesn't have the same kind of MMO components that you would see normally. I don't know what exactly you require. Is there a checklist to make an MMO or whatever, or to list something as an MMO? But in a way, it is just reflective of those survival games, and I don't think they've really nailed their identity yet, which is also a
Yeah,
concern.
sure. I
Uh,
mean, I think that they're taking the massive multiplayer online from the MMO RPG, right? And then making everything around that.
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah, it is massively multiplayer. Well, it's supposed to be if the fucking servers can handle it.
If it
Because
works, yeah.
yeah, when we was leaving the
It
zone, the green zone, I
it
think it
did
was.
not work.
No, we wanted to like gank. We wanted to actually do some shit, but we went outside the zone where PvP is enabled. Actually, wait, no. They didn't have PvP enabled for this one. That's another
No,
thing
they
as
didn't.
well. We weren't
Yeah.
able to test that, and that's the reason why we signed up in the first place, and we didn't get it.
But the
But
combat looked shabby when you were hitting animals and
oh,
stuff like that.
the combat was all over the place. Honestly, that's why I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Like, I don't think it's been done yet. I don't think they've actually have anything. They just add a swing and call it a day. And
Yeah, yeah.
the way that the mobs spawned and whatnot, um, had irregular spawns, irregular aggro ranges, irregular combat mechanics, irregular everything really. Um, it's quite worrying, but I also am lenient in my judgment because they're trying something new and they've not quite fixed everything and they're listening to feedback, and I feel like as long as they try and make it performance wise good, it should be okay. Like all the rest of the kind of red flags I wouldn't really care about. But we're gonna have to yet again wait for any kind of like beta or similar access to play it again and see the progress that they've made. Like
Yep.
if with the foundation they have, I think that the game could be amazing. I think it's very beautiful considering in its alpha phase it was looking like that. I think that was
Well,
pretty
it's
pretty
Unreal
good.
5, so you expect it to be beautiful,
Yeah, yeah, it should be.
right?
Yeah, it should be. Um, but yeah, I think like if we see it in another 2 years or so, I think that will be something worth playing. Um, we will still
Also, another
be
thing,
yeah
they'll be selling beta access on Steam this April, I think. They said
selling
around yes, selling.
selling.
Yes, selling.
Hang on, I'm just gonna check out the website really quick.
You
Do we
can
have
check out their
numbers?
website.
Do I have numbers? Because
You can do that.
I think wait, where can I find that? I think I remember you mentioning this, saying that they are selling it. Where we stand on
Yep,
monetization.
it will be in store soon.
Okay, that is very wondering. Very worrying. Sorry, I'm fucking wondering. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That I'm not too sure how I feel about that. You just added another red
Uh,
flag. I'm trying to cope here. What are you doing?
yeah,
Uh,
listen, sorry.
okay. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's a very bad note to leave it on, isn't it? But Throne of Liberty, yes, yes,
Well,
it's gonna be a great game. Let's go.
you can show the model that they displayed on the website, right? Um, you have a screenshot, right?
Do not have a
Well,
screenshot, but
yes, you
I
do.
do
Give me a
have
second.
the article.
Sending you the screenshot right now.
Oh, I was just on that. Ah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's
okay,
as I said, it is quite boring.
a core consisting of one off initial purchase of the game, a regular fee for maintain and play active player status and in-game plots. So you have to essentially
You
subscribe in order to keep your plots, which is fair enough. Like that kind of
yes,
stops people from being dead and keeping a plot. Supplemented by free but limited access to cover the game and a WoW token. I see. Well, to be honest, we
yeah.
don't know much about their economy and the player. I don't think I could trade. I had to just like put in a chest and someone else picked it up, right? So I don't know how that would actually affect it. But the
True, but
fact that
there is everything is tradable in the game.
okay,
Absolutely everything,
right,
right?
okay,
Um, Also, they are previous Eve developers, so they will try to milk you. Um, yeah, their development studio comprised of previous Eve developers and some new people. So
hmm.
take of that what you might.
Okay, yeah, that is quite concerning, especially if they want you to pay a one-off payment as well. Maybe they'll backtrack on that. We'll see. I don't know. Their Discord seems quite active. They have a community that really is looking forward to it. So maybe they won't. If it is that bad of a like monetization, then see about our roster and our attitude towards that, I guess. But again,
Yep.
we have to see how good the game becomes because at the moment, like you can see through screenshots and shit, it does look nice and it does have potential. So hopefully
Oh yeah,
it will
definitely.
actually, be something that's playable. And but yeah, that is. I say we can call it there. Really, I think we've covered the main MMOs that we are currently looking forward to, as well as some others that are concerning and worrying slightly. we did have a large list of MMOs to talk about, such as Arcade 2, Aeon 2. I even had some stuff to go over with Pantheon. Um, I mentioned earlier about Soulframe. There's other
Yep.
MMOs such as Parlia, Anvil Empires, Blade and Soul 2, Lord of the Rings MMO, Dune Online, Warhammer 40k MMO, Jagex, the RuneScape developers, are also have a list of MMOs that they're currently working on. Perfect New World, and so much more. Really, many MMOs that exist per se. Some more than others. Some are just straight up scams, and some are very shady in general, such as Quinfall. But I think that we covered the MMOs generally speaking that we're looking forward to and that we're recruiting for, and that we kind of have good expectations for. Mainly Throne and Liberty and AOC in that regard, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it, really. The next episode, we will be covering a specific MMO because the last two episodes have been just a general overview of, um, MMOs in general, and to gain an idea of the problems surrounding those MMOs and whatnot, as well as talk about MMOs that we're looking forward to. So now it's time to, discuss the uh, MMOs that we want to talk about. So primarily, it will be around the MMOs that we're recruiting for, such as Ashes of Creation and Throne of Liberty. One of those two will be the main topic for the next couple of podcasts for sure. Um, and we'll be going a bit more in depth and discussing our views on the systems and really breaking it down, getting a good idea of problems that may arise, as well as the fun that may be had within those games as well. So, yeah, I'm gonna call it here, lads. Thank you all for joining me today. Appreciate the activity within the chat and letting us know that Funky couldn't be heard. That is really appreciated. Um, and yeah, if you've watched from the very start to the very end, I appreciate your time. Hopefully, it will be a lot smoother next time. I thought I had everything under control, but obviously not. So that's something that I need to rectify and work on in the future. So, yeah, thank you for your patience in that regard. And we will catch you next week, Wednesday, at 7 p.m. UK time or 8 p.m. CET. And yeah, I hope to see you all there again. And I guess bye bye for now.
See ya.
See ya.